Hey everyone, so this should be a really interesting test case, and hopefully it goes all the way up to the Supreme Court, because I've been waiting for a while now, well, ever since legalization was implemented under the federal liberals, and watch some of my past videos in terms of what I think of legalization. Of course, not that I got anything against people being able to consume, grow, cultivate, or distribute a plant. I'm all for that. I'm a free market proponent after all. I'm a libertarian. But like I say, legalization, yeah, that's a government initiative. That's a government policy. Anything the government tries to put their dirty, grubby hands on, yeah, it's never about giving you freedom. It's always about taking control. But something that stood out to me very early on was this whole thing in terms of drug testing. How is that going to play out in the courts? Because if you think about it, alcohol and cannabis have not just two totally different effects in terms of your intoxication or your high. Actually, it's the opposite when you're talking about weed, really, right? Not really a whole lot of a high per se, more of a little bit of a low, as in your eyes real low. No, just kidding, but totally different kind of effect or intoxicating effect that you get from cannabis in comparison to alcohol. And that's just the effect. We also got to take into account how long it stays in your system. Alcohol, at the very least, has been shown to basically be out of your system within 12 hours. Whereas cannabis, I mean, you could consume cannabis. You could have smoked a joint, let's say on Friday night after work or Saturday, and then go to work on Monday. And 2 days later, let's say you smoke, let's just go with the Friday night, right? So you got Saturday night, Sunday night. So even 2 and a bit days later, you go to work Monday morning. You're not high. No matter how much weed you smoked Friday night, you're definitely not high Monday morning. But if you get pulled over by the police, by the Gestapo in Canada, and now they have the ability to pull you over whether they suspect you're high or not, they're just any excuse at all to pull you over. So yeah, that's going to happen. And we're seeing it's already happened to a substantial degree up there, and a lot of people are having to deal with this kind of stuff. But yeah, so if you got pulled over and you have to take one of these tests, right, or a field sobriety test anyway to determine whether you are impaired, well, they might be able to suggest or say that you are because, oh, you smoke marijuana, if you admit to it at least, right? Or if they measure so much THC in your blood. Or I guess they even have some of these oral samples that you can take that measures THC content. No matter which way they look at it, if you have THC in your system, they're going to try to suggest that you're high. You know darn well that's not the case. Because like I said, cannabis stays in your system for a long time. A whole lot longer than alcohol does. So like I say, this is going to be one heck of an interesting test case. And I don't have much faith in any of the branches of government in this country, where you're talking about the Supreme Court. I like I say, these are top-down authoritarian central planner types that basically look at everything out on the political landscape as if it's a nail, and all they have in their tool belt is a big old hammer. So that's the way big government deals with every problem or every issue. So we'll see how this all plays out in the court. Once again, not holding out a lot of faith or hope that they'll do the right thing, but hey, even a broken clock can be right twice a day, and even authoritarians can make an exception once in a while. So I guess there's that. Headline of the CBC News, British Columbia. BC drug testing case pits transit safety against right to smoke pot after hours. TransLink ordered to stop random drug testing of SkyTrain attendant who tested positive for cannabis. This is being reported by Jason Proctor, November 6, 2019. Metro Vancouver's Transit Authority has been ordered to stop random drug screening of a SkyTrain attendant who tested positive for cannabis during a routine medical examination. An arbitrator issued the interim ruling pending a final decision on a battle between the Canadian Union of Public Employees and TransLink. The case pits commuter safety against the privacy of employees when it comes to off-work enjoyment of a drug that's legal for recreational consumption. Actually, before I continue on, let me just say the fact that this is being challenged by the Canadian Union of Public Employees, right? So we might actually get some traction. Now, if it was a private individual or people who aren't connected with the political or ruling class, well, yeah, good luck with that, right? But hey, because it's a quasi-government institution or a big government institution in this country, well, hey, who knows? They might get a little traction. Because when it comes to big government, yeah, those squeaky wheels really do get the grease. And fortunately, those squeaky wheels are part and parcel of the ruling class. So like I say, who knows how this will play out. But at the very least, it is going to be tested And these people have a lot of economic resources at their disposal. David Solomon was forced to undergo twice monthly urine tests last year and take counseling despite medical assessments that determined he did not have marijuana use disorder. Marijuana use disorder? TransLeak's employee policy doesn't forbid employees from using marijuana away from work. But the company argued that a conservative approach was needed when it came to public safety. This case raises sensitive and complex issues related to the tension between employee privacy and public safety, arbitrator Arnie Peltz wrote in a 52-page decision. In reality, even when they say a conservative approach, what they mean is let's use, the old tried and true tactic that, I can't help but point out just one more time in this video, sorry for some of you boomers that are going to get triggered for this, but yeah, the boomer cohort, that particular generation, they seem to love using preemptive or collective punishment as a means to an end. Like, right? One person does something wrong, like say, whether it was when I was going to school or employers, parents, right? Teachers, principals, even preachers of that age. I mean, a lot of these boomer people, I don't know what it is with them, but collective and preemptive punishment seems to rule the day for these people. It's like someone does something wrong, and now we got to punish everyone else to send a message, right? Let's collectively punish everyone because, even though they haven't, maybe not everyone hasn't done anything wrong yet, but let's just punish them anyways because, they might, or this will be a better deterrent to make sure they don't do anything wrong. So like I say, preemptive or collective punishment, yeah, that is the go-to methodology for authoritarian collectivists, particularly from that boomer cohort. The legalization of recreational marijuana in 2018 left many Canadian employers and employees wondering about their rights and responsibilities in terms of workplace policies. Airlines such as Air Canada and WestJet prohibited cannabis consumption on and off duty for employees in safety-critical positions, such as pilots and flight attendants. And the RCMP and several other police forces across the country have adopted policies barring officers from using marijuana within 28 days of working. As a general rule, employers cannot force employees to submit to mandatory drug tests. Really? Well, geez, I wish I had known this information many years ago as a truck driver because I was forced to submit to these random drug tests. And if I had known I could refuse that, well, I probably would have. Whether I was guilty or innocent wouldn't have nothing to do with the fact other than I will not comply, I will not submit. Yeah, I'm a little bit rebellious that way, and for good reason. In 2013, the Supreme Court of Canada said that the fact a workplace is found to be dangerous does not automatically give the employer the right to impose random testing unilaterally. The court found that even in inherently dangerous workplaces, testing can only be justified for particular employees in certain circumstances, where there are reasonable grounds to believe that the employee was impaired while on duty, where the employee was directly involved in a workplace accident or significant incident, or where the employee returns to work after treatment for substance abuse. The court also said random drug or alcohol tests could be imposed in a dangerous workplace as a proportionate response in cases where the employer can establish a general problem with substance abuse. So once again, great information. I'm glad I'm hearing this stuff. It's a little late, but it's always better late than never, I guess. But this kind of stuff tells me that, there's a lot of people, especially in the trucking industry, who have had to undergo a lot of these random drug tests needlessly. Because according to this Supreme Court ruling, we all had the right to deny them the ability to do so. Anyways, folks, I'll place a link to this article in the description of the video below. But like I say, this is a great test case. And like I say, I really, really hope it goes all the way to the Supreme Court, which I expect it probably should. Well, at least, because it is the CUPE, right? The public sector union. So that, like I say, they got lots of money at their disposal. So I'm sure they have the resources to take it all the way to the Supreme Court. And hopefully they get some decently competent lawyers that knows how to fight for people's rights. Because if this does go all the way to the Supreme Court, and if there is any semblance of genuine justice in this country left at all, then not only will random drug testing be overturned, but the very pretense of being able to suggest that people are impaired in any way just because they have THC levels in their system. Now, just because someone smoked a joint on the weekend doesn't mean that they're impaired when they're going to work on Monday. And anyone that knows anything about cannabis or cannabis-related products knows that intrinsically and unmistakably. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.